Hi, everyone. Welcome to the BC Girls Podcast. We are your hosts, Matoba,
Hanfil, and
Akane. Today's topic is advice for high school students, and we would be giving 10 pieces of our own advice, and I will lead this off to Matoba.
My first piece of advice I would give to high school students, whether you're coming in, mostly actually for first year students, freshman year, I would say don't worry too much about making friends initially, especially if you're moving into a high school that is not connected to your middle school, meaning it's completely different, it's a whole new set of people. Don't worry too much about making friends initially, because the whole purpose and goal of even going to school is to get an education. And also why I say that is because you don't really need like 100 friends. You just need 2 or 3 to get you through school. You know, your trinity, your friend group of people. In the first couple of months, most students and most people are not really their authentic selves. Everyone is trying to be something that they're not, or they're trying to recreate themselves. And if you get involved with too many people, you can get lost in your own identity, and you can get lost in where you stand on certain topics or certain things. Let me define that more specifically. If you were raised in a religious background, strict parents, just go to school, do your homework and all that stuff, and you meet somebody who at first has that seems like they have that similar interest or similar background, and then later on you come to figure out like, oh no, they actually like to do other things that your parents didn't raise you to do, then it could be detrimental to you. But you really just need 2 or 3 people.
The second piece of advice would be don't overwhelm yourself with just getting straight A's and being in the top of your class, because your high school experience should not just be about grades, that everything involves your grades. You should enjoy being able to be a teenager and enjoy your high school experience. Coming from personal experience, where in high school I thought I had to get, at least I wasn't the top of my class, but I was so diligently involved in getting the best of grades. I feel like I didn't enjoy being in high school. Like I was just stressed over about getting good grades, making sure I didn't fail my class, making sure I was doing well, I was making my parents happy and proud. And that's good, but you're not able to really enjoy your education. You're not able to enjoy being present in high school. You kind of just let it fly by. So I think it's good to yes, get good grades for yourself that you feel is good enough that you're able to maintain a good schooling, but don't kill yourself for those grades. You'll still be able to get in a good school if you work hard and you keep at it. So enjoy.
And the third piece of advice is to just be yourself. You don't have to pretend to be the cool kid or, I don't know, it's some jock, right? From the movies. You could just be yourself. Being yourself is the most coolest thing you could ever do. From their perspective, from their point of view, you may look cool because you know stuff that you know. For example, if you're into music and you're playing in a band in a club, right? In a music band or something, then other people will say, yo, that's cool. So just be yourself.
The fourth piece of advice, which is kind of similar to the band example that you gave, would be to get involved in after-school activities. It helps to relieve stress. If you are concerned about making friends, that's probably the best way to make friends. People who share similar interests with you. So whether it be joining the volleyball team, the basketball team, or joining the newsletter, poetry club, or something that you really have, or a photography group, that too. I didn't have it in my high school, but I know other high schools have that. So get involved in after school activity. It helps with balancing the academic and having fun while you're still in high school. And it is good practice too, because you'll see in everyday life when you grow older and you have to start working, having something that balances your work life situation does help. So don't just kill yourself with only working, get involved with your community or stuff.
And as the fifth piece of advice, leewaying from getting involved in after school activities, make sure you do your homework. Yeah. I know that can be hard and not always motivating. I understand. High school students, I understand. Still struggle with that in college. But as I said before, like, you don't have to be an A+ student. At least do your homework, do the best that you can, and retain the information you learned in class, because you will be able to apply that in your job, in your outside, whatever you plan to do, or in college. Not everything, but for some of those information, you will be able to do that. So definitely do your homework. You're not gonna just graduate or fly through high school without doing your homework and getting good grades. You still need to do that at least.
In my high school, the one I went to, like, it was very strict. So if you didn't do your homework, you got detention. And we had a merit system. So if you didn't do your homework for the entire week, pretty much, you got detention for the next week. The sixth piece of advice I would give is to learn to manage your time. And this is where homework also is important. So let me give a rundown of my high school life. I think this was like 10th grade, which was my best year in high school, because I was really put together. I had a certain schedule. I would go to school. School started at 7:45, and then it ended at around 3:45, but it took like 15 minutes to get from the classroom to the locker rooms and then to leave the building. So really it ended at 4. Then I was on the volleyball team, so practice would be from like 4:15-ish or 4 o'clock to 6. And then I would get picked up around 6:30 at times, or I would have to take the bus home. And then literally from 7:30 to 12 was my time period to do homework. But again, I went to a very strict school, a school that really values academics and education. So our homework assignments weren't just like one sheet of paper, 10 minutes, 30 minutes to complete. It actually took us like 2-3 hours to do our homework assignment. And sometimes it'd be 2-3 hours each assignment. Even they started piling on homework assignments like crazy. So many times, and I got into the routine of waking up around 3:30 or 4:30 just to finish completing my homework. And so this is my everyday, waking up around 4:30, finishing homework, going straight to school, like literally rushing to put on my uniform, going straight to school, and then doing the whole thing again. So learn to manage your time and have a set routine or a schedule to follow, because it'll help you. I do not suggest waking up at 4:30, but if you have to do it, then do it. And it also helps in the future with your life in general. Like right now, I am working 2 jobs. Many times I feel like I don't have time to do anything, but when the weekend comes, then I have time to relax and also do other things outside of working, like helping this podcast to grow and to develop. Learning to manage your time helps you with sleep as well. And because I work 2 jobs, I've learned, and okay, so because I was in high school, waking up at 4:30 every morning, I got used to getting like about, this sounds terrible, but again, but getting around 4 to 6 hours of sleep. But I've gotten used to shortening the amount of time of sleep that I need. And now that I work 2 jobs, it's kind of the same thing. Used to just getting a limited amount of time of sleep.
All right, and number 7 is doing many activities to see what you actually want to major in college. So what I mean is For example, I did martial arts out of school. I had like two options, right? I had an option to continue the Taekwondo career, or and I was teaching at that time too, so I can excel in teaching. So maybe like becoming a teacher in schools. And another activity is volleyball that I did in school, or like in the past, I did volunteer work. It could be doing library, just stacking books and organizing. It could be whatever. It could be cooking too. It could be anything. So kind of like discover what you want to do in your life forever, kind of, if you are going to college. This is what high school does. They kind of rush you to go into college, but I feel like college is where you want to do something, so you got to stay and study for 4 years or maybe even more, and then become whatever you want it to be. So kind of discover yourself during activities.
The eighth piece of advice I'd give is to figure out your passions before going to college. Kind of similar to what Akane had said, but take classes, elective classes, if you get the chance in high school. Figuring out what it is that you want to do in life. So say you want to be an engineer. One thing I've noticed about a lot of students who do study in engineering is that they do have a creative side to them. And it comes out in different ways. For what I've seen, a lot of people enjoyed singing or doing arts and crafts, doing DIY projects, something creative, right? If you can figure out, what you're passionate about for both what it is that you want to do in life, like your career or your job, and also just something you like to do on the side that's really just for you, that makes you happy. I would encourage you to figure that out, test different things before you get to college. Because not that it's too late at college, I think it's more efficient and less money wasted if you already have those things figured out before you get to college. When you get to college, you hear a lot of stories about students who switch their majors, which is not their fault or anything. But in some cases, they have to end up spending another year, or they end up spending another year or taking out more loans or something, right? So it's more cost effective. I'd also say if your high school does offer this, to take some college level courses, do it. Again, that helps significantly. I had an experience in high school. I was in 12th grade, and we had a partnership with Seton Hall University, or some sort of partnership. I don't exactly know all the details, but essentially 3 or 4 students were able to take a business related course in Seton Hall for that semester. Honestly, taking that course, learning how to use Excel, which was the topic of the course, basically learning how to use Excel, and in very intricate and very detailed specific ways. So it was a lot for me, but it helped me because now the job that I have, I am always in Excel, like always. I spend most of my time in the Excel, but also it let me know like the business world is a lot different from what I thought it was. So definitely, if you could take those college level courses, do so, and if you can afford it, do so. And also, then you don't have to take it in college. And if you are, in 11th grade and 12th grade and thinking about college and moving on to that level, think about, or even, no, just all in your high school career. Think about what you are doing, things that you like to do, activities that you're involved in. Think about how great that would look on your college application. Or if you're like doing community service, it doesn't necessarily have to be activities in high school, but during that age that you're in high school, doing 1 or 2 things a year outside of just going to school, like community service or some sort of project, or doing anything like that. It looks really good on your college application. And it makes you look like a wholesome, well-rounded person. Because colleges nowadays aren't just looking for the straight A students who only got good grades. Like, you have to look like a person who can contribute to society in many ways, not just one way.
I kind of also wanted to include a little bit to differentiate what are your hobbies and passions, because that can definitely help you like figure out what kind of college course you want to go to or major to study, because there are things you probably like. Like I like to do art, I like to do arts and crafts, but I try to think of it practically, but also like really can I see myself working in this field as like my career? It was hard for me to see that. So like I kind of learned like, okay, maybe this won't work. I'll still like it as a hobby and things I can do on the side. But what I'm really passionate for and I felt like I really could work, I'll be a teacher. That's where I went. That's the drift and college course I kind of went to. The ninth piece of advice would be have a teacher you can talk to, because that's especially important when you're looking for, especially 11th and 12th grade, you're looking for someone to write you a recommendation letter, you're looking for those connections. You need to have a teacher you're able to talk to who knows you. You know, you can't just ask like your history teacher from freshman year and you were in that class and you barely raised your hand. So like be that person that can give you that recommendation. It's going to be hard because they have to be able to write a letter that, you know, the colleges, like the admissions be able to look and be like, oh, so this is the kind of student this applicant is. You know, you have to be proactive. Like if you're that shy type of student, I was the one who hesitated to ask questions because, you know, I don't wanted to ask the stupid questions. I didn't know, but I had to learn to kind of build up my confidence. Like my mom says, like if you need help, you gotta go reach out to your teachers. So if you can't reach it out in your classroom, stay a little bit after class, after your class, after school, in between classes, ask your teacher that question that you struggled with. If you have a question for something, or if you wanted to know more information about something, ask your teachers. Your teachers are supposed to be also there to help you, so they can give you different connections and ways to help. So if you need help, ask for help because your teachers can't read your mind. They can't tell if you need help or not. So definitely ask for their help. Any help that you can ask of them, they'll definitely appreciate because they at least know, oh, my student is really trying to learn, or they're struggling and they're able to come to me because, you know, they want to know. They want to know how they can improve themselves, how they can work in the classroom. So as a teacher, upcoming teacher, I can relate to this now.
Letter of recommendation, yes. That is huge in college. Especially if you're doing, I don't know if this goes for all the internships. I had to have 2 recommendation letters. One I did for work because if you're in college, sometimes you gotta go to work, right? And I had one more for like a teacher, right? It could have been there. I needed 2 teachers, so I got one from high school I was really fond of, and one from college. And because I had a teacher that, you know, like I had a bond with, I was able to do that. So this is a huge advice. You need to not only talk, but bond with your teacher.
If you can do a high school internship, oh man, or if you could do an internship in high school, that helps. I was fortunate and lucky, like really, I mean, I was very lucky. But I had one internship experience in high school that made me stood out. And then I was at a finance firm. Again, my school had a partnership with this finance firm, and I was one of the lucky people. It was me and like 2 or 3 other people who were able to get this internship out of a class of like almost 100 kids. So, I mean, but there were other internship opportunities. But yeah, like if you can do that in high school, that looks really good.
Last but not least, number 10. Have fun while you can in high school. If you're in senior, you probably have senioritis. But still, even though you're a senior, everything's falling upon you, you still gotta have fun. If you're a freshman, you're probably still gonna have fun, but you're probably thinking about college if you are. See, sophomore year is the best year. I guarantee. That is the most funnest year because you're not really worried about anything. You just graduated freshman year, now you're in sophomore. So keep having fun. If you're in junior year, some stuff might be falling upon you, like college, expectation, probably if you're in that kind of family. But still, have fun. If you're not having fun, find something fun to do. Don't get reckless and drive on your own if you have a driver's license. But still, have fun. That is number 1 in high school. You gotta have fun. You're still young. In college, you gotta suffer. So have fun.
So this concludes our episode on advice for high school students. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below in the comment section, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you everyone for listening to today's episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at BC Girls. You can also listen to this episode on Spotify, which will be linked down below.
Let's all create a better version of ourselves. Until next time.